until you've sat in a room together on a home leave, not on a home leave, on a home leave, not on a home leave, for example. Tony's picking up the phone, having to deal with the kids crying. I'm picking up the phone, and you're nurturing each other through those highs and lows. Literally. I don't think you can ever replace that, especially when you've got a connection with someone that you've got the same morals and you're going through the same things. And you know that
friendship's true because it's raw. It's not fake because you've only got you and your real self in prison. Yeah. So
and that's key. Hello and welcome back to Life After Prison with Zach and Jules. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about what it's really like coming out of prison, especially when you're a parent trying to get back to normal life. We're joined by Faye and Toni, two friends who met inside and have supported each other ever since. We'll be talking about reconnecting with our kids, dealing with stigma, reality of life on tag, and how supportive friendships make a difference. So welcome to the sofa, Toni and Faye.
Thanks for having us.
How you doing?
We're good, aren't we?
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we are very excited for this episode and grateful that you two are both here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourselves? Faye, do you want to start?
Yeah, certainly. So I served 22 months in HMP style, which is where I met Toni. I was released in July last year and I've started working full time as a result of being in prison. Luckily enough, one of the good things to come out of prison for Prison Radio Association. I do a podcast called Secret Life of Prisons, which I'm hoping we can touch on a bit later because I absolutely love it. I do a couple of other shows that go out on National Prison Radio, Health Unlocked, Extra Time, One Tiny Change Challenge, and the most important one, Jules, is what you and I do. I produce the Family and Friends Request Show with yourself.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, like you said, it's stemmed from being in prison, and that is something, a real positive that you've taken from that, and what you do is incredible. And we love working with you. You are such a massive part of our organisation, and we are proud to be your colleague. So we love that.
Yeah. Feelings mutual. Feelings very, very mutual.
And Toni?
Yeah, so I'm Toni. I'm just on 6 months out from Style and Drake. I done 2 years off a 6-year sentence. Got home quite a bit early because of all the new changes, didn't I?
Yeah.
Which was amazing. Just had my tag took off.
Congratulations.
So, yeah.
And we celebrated.
Yeah, we had a great time. We went to see M people last week.
That must have been a motive.
It was a lovely night.
Yeah.
Was that your first night out?
I went out the week before. I've been out more times since I've been off tag in the last 4 weeks than I've been off in my life.
Wow.
I think.
How's it feeling?
Amazing. It's the best thing ever. But yeah, so I'm just getting used to, still getting used to being back home with the kids. Little bit of part-time work. Hoping to do some voluntary work with probations and women in prison and things like that. But yeah, I'm just still enjoying just being back home with the kids.
Love that.
Yeah, give yourself time as well.
I love
for doing all of that.
There's
no rush, and seeing you here smiling like that it's such a nice thing, isn't
always
it?
smiling.
It's so good. It's such a nice thing. Well done and congratulations.
Thank you.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you both met?
Yeah. When we first, I was already in style, wasn't I?
I can remember what we first spoke.
Oh, okay, go on, tell the fire away.
I remember I'd got a letter from one of my dad's friends who was a mutual friend.
Yeah, you did.
Remember?
Yeah, you did.
And he'd asked me, do you know Faye in there? And I'd heard about Faye because if you're a Scouser in prison, then they expect you to be best friends with every other Scouser. So it was always, do you know Faye? And I didn't know Faye. And then the letter came and said, say hi to Faye for me. So I was like, I need to meet this Faye, don't I? So pulled the window up, I'll always remember.
Oh, yeah.
On Gaskell House. Said, are you Faye? She went, yeah. I went, so-and-so said, and she was like, oh, do you know? And that was it then, weren't it?
Yeah, so basically Tony's dad's friend is a friend of my dad's as well. Nice. So he'd written a letter in, I think it was from Benidorm or somewhere, wasn't it? It was on holiday, from Benidorm. And and you come to come to the, was I walking past the
were
Gaskell
picking
window,
everyone
probably
up
going
for
to
the
the gym.
gym.
Yeah.
Oh, so you must have known Faye is in the gym.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
probably trying to hide, but I couldn't because he had to pass the message on.
That makes sense now.
It
Yeah.
was literally the yin
That's
to the
what it
yang
was,
right the way through the sentence.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Oh, that is
And,
so nice.
It was so good.
So that's how we first met. And then I think I probably was trying to drag you to get into the gym, wasn't I?
Yeah.
But you used to say I prefer to eat biscuits than go in the gym.
Still love me biscuits.
And then we
Still.
at roommates.
We did. What did we do? About 6 months in a room together, didn't we?
Yeah, and I must say our door at Christmas was like the most beautiful door you've ever seen
We had
in
a
your
big
life.
gorgeous green garland all the way round the door.
No way.
I think we took up some of the Christmas tree down to make, didn't we?
Yeah,
Sure
we did. Yeah.
We were like when people would go to...
And one of the officers said, "Have you got all of those decorations on your garland round your door?" But because we were good prisoners
Model
and we were
prisoners.
model prisoners and we do everything right, we were kind of allowed to keep it, and it was lovely.
It's Christmas
wasn't it?
time as well, man.
Yeah,
Just give
of
us
course.
a break, innit?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You've got to admit, they were all right to us at Christmas time. And
Yeah.
to be fair, yeah, they was.
Can you both tell us a little bit about your sentences, how long they were and what were they for?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so I was remanded into prison in March 2023. It was for possession with intent to supply of drugs, obviously. I was sentenced in the May after doing a few months on remand. I got 6 years. And like I say, at the time, that was just simply because of the guidelines on sentencing. That was 3 years inside and it would have been 3 years on probation. There was no tag, there was no early releases, and that was hard. I had 3 kids at home, so it was like, obviously to be remanded is the worst as well, because there's no planning, there's no preparation. But then again, at the same time, it knocks that time off your sentence. So there's a win-lose in all of it, isn't it? Again, so, and you, by the time I was sentenced, well, at least I've took them months off what I've got to do.
What about you, Faye?
So I was convicted as part of the EncroChat hack, which was kind of an infiltration of an encrypted phone network, and my charges were conspiracy to supply and money laundering. My biggest charge, so the biggest sentence came from the money laundering, so I got 3 years.
Is it?
Yeah, so it was a weird
Wow.
one. It was a weird one what they done really, because they switched. So the money laundering was quite a high amount, and then they converted the money laundering amount equivalent to then back down to a drugs amount. So the drugs amount was a certain amount of kilo, and then they converted it back down through the money laundering. So it was a bit of a mess, and I could have potentially tried to go not guilty and run a trial, but I had to weigh up my options. I had 2 kids. And I was never ever going to get found not guilty. I was always going to get found guilty, because they basically, with the EncroChat hack, they had all of the messages there. They could prove it was me who was part of those messages. So I just thought the best option is to go guilty for the kids. I didn't go guilty straight away, so I only got the 25% off. But that 25% off is a massive difference when you've got 2 kids sat at home. So I wasn't eligible for tag. I was due out on tag on the, which Toni will tell you about now. So I was due out for tag on the 19th of January, it might have been. So I was doing home leaves. I was rottling every week.
I remember that, actually.
Didn't put a foot wrong, didn't do nothing wrong. Told my OMU 48 hours before I'm due to be released on tag, someone's going to come in and stop this tag from happening. No, you'll be fine. You're going out on tag. So it goes out on a home leave on the Friday. I'm due to be released on the Monday. I'm out on my home leave, comes back at 7 o'clock in the night and walks in, and there's 7 prison officers waiting for me to tell me I'm not being released on tag on the Monday, because the police have said I'm under another investigation, which I told them was going to happen all along. Anyway, long story short, he had 2 options: either kind of get on with it or don't get on with it. I wasn't too happy, to say the least, when I got back on the house that night. I think you were having a birthday party for someone, wasn't you? It wasn't the fact that I wasn't getting out on tag on the Monday. It was the fact that
timing, innit?
Yeah, and it was the fact that they then stopped my rottles as well. So I was due out the next day on rottle, which is release on temporary license. So I'd left the kids on the Friday and said, I'll see you tomorrow, back to go out for the day, and I'm home on Monday.
So whatever the police were saying, did anything even come of that?
No, it's been NFA'd last week.
It's just so annoying, isn't it?
But we knew it was going to happen.
Till then, the NFA was just last week?
Just last week, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
when you've got kids and you're promising, it's just
and that's something. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I think people need to understand. And look, that's. I always knew that was going to happen.
Okay.
I'd said to everybody it was going to happen. I said 48 hours before, potentially. Well, not potentially. I know that this is going to happen because that's the last point they can stop me going out on tag, and it did. And I think there's an important message for people to take there, because you've always got to kind of hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Prepare for the worst, yeah. And I think I made the mistake with the kids in terms of saying I'll be home on Monday. And look, my kids, kids are so resilient. And for anyone sat kind of listening to this, it's tough having kids at home. But what you've got to do with your kids is kind of be open and honest with them and deal with it in as best way as possible and be as positive as possible in any situation that you can. Yeah. Because if your kids see you dealing with things in a negative way and you're letting it get to you and you're getting down, as much as you're sat in your cell that night, I was heartbroken. But what did I say to the kids the next day? Look, I've got another 6 months to do. We've come this far, and at the end of this 6 months, we'll be back together.
That's right.
And I had to ride that 6 months out with not getting one more home leave. But I knew I had 6 months left. I knew I'd done nothing wrong, and there was no other investigation where it could have been found of anything wrong. And it was kind of a bit of way of getting to me for something that was potentially wanted. But I rode it out for 6 months, and I didn't want to get out of bed on the Saturday, did I? But it was PEI Darwin. I was bad, yeah.
Still, it was only a couple of days, and we dealt with it.
Well, it was PEI Darwin. It was one of the PEIs come, and he actually come to the house, and then I said, tell him I'm not going into the gym. And he come up to the door and said, do us a favour. He said, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get yourself up out the bed and get in the gym. And I did. I jumped in the gym and done a run on the treadmill, and it was done then. I thought, you know what, I've got 6 months left.
Run it off.
Yeah.
Run it off.
Run it off. You would have said anyone, wouldn't
to be the first thing, yeah.
Take a bit of your own advice.
Yeah. But tough.
What did it mean for you both to have this kind of relationship and friendship inside?
Yeah.
We got through with each other, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We had such...
We used to cry laughing, didn't we?
I think it's because we've got the kids, and they're both like, I know like a lot, every parent, the kids are the whales and things like that. But to be in that situation as a mum, where it's been you and the kids solely, and it's like, we just had very similar situations, didn't we? We had what we like in life, our priorities, our morals and things like that were very similar.
Yeah.
We were both okay. We were good people to people in jail. We like to like look after people and things like that. We both got positive outlooks. So we sort of just gelled, didn't we? And we did help each other get through times. You know, when it was like that incident, it was like we were in the room together at that point, weren't we? So it was just being there for each other then. And then it's continued to now, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I think one of the big, I mean, we bonded straight away. The kids is the mutual connection, wasn't it? We both got the same morals, as Tony's just said. And then the two of us had to kind of help each other out in a certain way. So Tony wasn't getting their home leaves. So we were sharing a room. So Tony wasn't getting their home leaves, but I was. And then my home leave stopped and Tony got his. And Tony was like, I feel so guilty going out. Like you was going home to your kids, and now it's stopped, and now I'm going home to my kids, and we're in a room together. And the prison don't think of it like that, about how that could impact each of you in terms of who they're pairing up. And I was like, I'm not bothered whether I'm going home to my kids or not. I'd love to be, but I'm not. But you are. So go home and do your rottle and come back and tell me all about it, and make sure you have the best time with your kids. And that's what it was all about, wasn't it? It's like, because in prison, a lot of people become like jealous of each other, and there's a lot of resentment there. Yeah. And one message that should always be said is just because you're not getting something or haven't got something, don't wish that somebody else hasn't got it, because when you're in prison, we're all in the same situation, and you should only want the best for each other, really.
I was going to say, this is such a real feeling you're both you both living together. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You're both, people don't, you won't understand until you're like in it. But these are like, this is real minute to minute, day to day emotions that are being, you know, you don't have the control and you don't have the stuff you want, and you know, you have to watch each other go through it, and then you know, to support each other going through it, and then to see each other on the other side of that. Like it's such a powerful and emotional roller coaster. I just think it's incredible hearing it right this second, because you know, we've both had our own journeys through it and seen people go through it, and it's just a lot, isn't it? It is just a lot.
But it's those things that bond you for forever, kind of things. You know what I mean? When you go through certain experiences together, that's what keeps you connected.
Yeah.
When you're talking about it moment to moment, just there, it just brings back how emotional that journey is.
It is.
It's
and I think
mad.
when you walk through those prison gates, I mean, I remember walking into Style and thinking, wow, I'm actually here. I can't believe it.
That's exactly my
And not
thoughts.
for 1 minute do you ever think you're going to find a friend for life.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everybody does, but I know a lot of people who've spent time in prison and they've got friends for life.
Facts.
And I think an important thing for people to take away is, just because you're in prison doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, there's some
100%.
fantastic
I've
people
met
that you
really
meet.
good people in there.
Exactly, yeah.
Or it doesn't mean you can't build relationships
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
have friends and have that support and smile and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Facts.
what were you
No,
gonna say?
that's it basically.
One of the things I think is everyone's stripped down raw.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you've got on the outside once you're in there.
Yeah.
You haven't got your family. You haven't got your friends you used to. So you're no better off than someone else. Everyone's just the same. Everyone's like on a level together. So if you're all going through that heartbreak, which is what everyone's going through because they're away from the loved ones, your kids and that. It's just like something for you to bond over, isn't it? And all we used to do, well, that was the first time we met was over that letter. But do you remember how we first got working on the radio?
Oh yeah, you guys worked on
We
NPR
worked on
together.
this.
Yeah,
This is crazy.
The radio shows that we used to record. So we come up with an idea. I said, National Prison Radio, a lot of it it's serious. It's a lot of information. Let's just do a show where we just have banter for an hour. I said, and I've got somebody that we do it together. And we used to go into the studio and we'd record and we would be crying with laughter.
Scuba diving.
Look, I scuba dive. So I scuba dive. Well, I used to scuba dive when I lived abroad. And I hate scuba diving, believe it or not. Can't stand it because I can't breathe when I'm down here, but I'll do it. Because once you're down and you see certain things, it's enjoyable. But I'm not very good at breathing through the respirator, so we'd be crying, laughing in the studio, and I couldn't catch my breath. And I'd say, I feel like I'm scuba diving. And then Tony's just said to me on the train down here this morning, have you got your snorkel? And I said, yeah, and I've got my flippers.
You guys
We just laughed. But you done the first, that's how we first started doing the radio. You came in with the team into the salon. I was doing a hairdressing course at the time.
Yeah,
and
I did.
you'd done an interview and I was like, obviously, I want to do it. Me. It's definitely for me, this. Interview me. And what did you ask me? Where would you be your dream holiday?
Yeah.
And
I said, you've got a great memory, you know, because it's only when you say
it
comes
yesterday.
Back. Yeah.
But I can remember that.
And you said you wanted to go on a safari, and that's what I said. Wow. I wanted to go on a safari
and she was
together.
Like, so do I. And I was like, oh, we're the same.
Yeah.
And that was it.
We haven't booked that safari
yet. I was going to say.
No, not yet. Not yet.
You got to document that when that happens, though.
We will.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
cold,
we will.
Yeah.
We'll find the recording of us saying it in the salon. That'll still be going somewhere, won't it?
Yeah, should
From when we planned it.
Yeah. But yeah, safari, that was always what we said.
So then let's talk motherhood inside.
Oh.
What is the reality of being away from your kids? What is that like?
It's hard to put into words. It's probably one of the hardest things to put into words, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think you can describe the feeling. I don't think I can describe the feeling when the door closed that first night, when I'd just been remanded. The police came into the house while the kids were there at 7 o'clock at night for me. So that's hard enough in itself. In terms of how that was, to be fair, they weren't awful. It weren't awful. It was probably as good as it could be in terms of how can you How can you make a house raid good when there's kids there? You can't really, because it's awful. And my youngest was 4 at the time. He'd never had a night away from me. He never used to stay out. And so to get taken there and then in front of them, just walked out and put into the back of a big massive police car, and there's police all over the street. The kids have never seen nothing like that. It's like, so you're thinking, what are they thinking? And then that you're your own worst enemy to try and work out.
What did Frankie say to you that time about you live in a cage? Because you see months later, yeah. And and
which was worse.
We did joke about it, didn't we? But it's not. But we joked about it because that's the way we deal with things.
Like, so I got remanded, and then me mum and dad brought the kids up on visits. I think it was about the 5th visit in. And Frankie, my youngest, he said, "Mummy, so do you sleep in a cage?"
Wow.
And it still gives me a lump in my throat now, because I think he thought for that long. I wish he'd have asked me straight away. Yeah. So what was that kid thinking for that long? Was he thinking his mum was sleeping in a cage? I said, no. I said, I sleep in a bunk bed. I've got a bunk bed like you. And he said, oh, do you sleep on the top like me? I said, yeah. He said, is that so the police can't get you? Oh. So I said, and then I had to explain. No, I said, I mean, for him, because he was young, I initially said that I'd gone to work to help the police catch the bad men who robbed the banks. Just a typical story that you tell a child who's 4 at the time. I think by the time I was coming home, he still doesn't say now to this day. He's 7 now. I was home I was home for this birthday for the 7th. And he still doesn't say he knows where I've been, but I think he does. He knows, I mean, if it had been here longer, I think I did speak to PACT, the charity we were talking about, to help you with family day visits and things like that. And they suggested to speak to him at that point, as in to tell him, because he come up on a family day one time, and he said to the PACT lady, she's got a lanyard, and you were waiting in the visitors' room, waiting to come in. And he's gone up to him and he went, I know who you are, and I know you kidnapped my mum.
Oh, no.
This wasn't.
Do you know when we laugh about it, but you've got to think what kids are thinking in the brain to say that. Yeah,
I'm able to laugh it off now. I'm home. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere. He doesn't ever have to think about that again. And I tell him all the time, because he is quite clingy, Frankie. So I do think it's definitely affected him 100%. Take him to school, and he likes me to stay on the yard until he goes right in the door. And it's little things like that. They're lasting effects that us mums have to deal with. It's not a case if you go home, and I suppose all this show, it's all part of like making people aware that it's topics that need to be spoken about as a mum with small children, older children. I've got an older one who's 16, and he's just as much it affects them. Yeah, it's just different ways that it affects them all. There's so much to talk about with it.
Especially if they're at different ages and stages of life.
How did it affect your older kids?
Do you know what? They're all just amazing. They're all just amazing. So my eldest, he's going to be 17. He gets his GCSE results tomorrow. He's predicted to get really high grades in them all. He's amazing. He's just fantastic.
Yeah,
he's just
brilliant.
Then my daughter's 13. She's definitely ADHD like me. Nothing bothers her. She doesn't know what day it is, like me. So I suppose that's one of the positives of ADHD. It doesn't, a lot of things don't bother you. We're sort of just get on with it type of, nothing really
There's always a lot going on. So
so every cloud and all that. And then the baby was affected because, they've all been affected. I remember my son, my 16-year-old, on that very first visit. My mum and dad aren't together. They came up. They brought the 3 kids. They got together and brought them up. That was a bit weird seeing them walk into a room together. Didn't look right at all. But they come in with the kids, and my son, my eldest, he cried. Oh. He was 14 at the time then, So he was 14, and I haven't seen him cry for God knows how long, because the big men, aren't they, when they're that age? They think they are. And he sobbed, and there was a lot of people on that visit that cried as well. There was a lot of people. I don't know how I got off the floor on that visit. That was difficult.
Visits, leaving your kids, the first visit is
Describe it for us,
it's horrendous. So Tony will probably speak the same. We're both quite positive people, so we always try and look at the positive in any situation, and you stay strong. And the life I've lived, you've kind of got to be a strong person. There is no words or anything that can prepare you for that first visit with your kids. I remember waiting to leave the house. I lived on a house in Style to go to that first visit, and I actually wasn't going to go. I couldn't bring myself to walk into that visit hall knowing that I was then having to go and leave again. I'm getting upset now thinking about it, but and for people who aren't as like, I mean, I was lucky enough. I mean, Toni had some of our family there as well, but Toni was a single parent, if you don't mind me saying. So I was lucky enough to have, even though I'm not with the kid's dad, I was lucky enough to have the kid's dad, my mum and my family, my sister, my cousin Nicola. I could not have got through this sentence without her. She was absolutely fantastic. Like, she just know where you're close to somebody, and then all of a sudden when you need somebody, there's a certain person that steps up. Yeah. It was her, so I can't thank her enough for it. All my friends around me and my family, but I had the kid's dad as well and his family. So it wasn't as I mean, it was difficult, but it wasn't as difficult knowing that they had some stability. Whereas obviously Toni was the main carer for her kids, and I was the main carer for mine, but I had the backup there of the kid's dad as well as all my family. So what it must have been like for you, I don't know. But that first visit, having to walk in, because it might sound like I'm being a bit cold-hearted. It's a lot easier to deal with things down a telephone. I guess whether I don't want this to come across in the wrong way, any way, shape or form, but it was probably easier for the kids and easier for me having the conversations, because you don't get a visit for the first few weeks. So the kids aren't coming into the prison at that point. They're not seeing the gates. They're not seeing the searches that are happening. They're not seeing the officers. I mean, my little lad used to love getting searched. He used to run in and stand like he was going through the airport. And that's joking aside. He obviously didn't like being in there, but there is nothing that can prepare you for that first visit and walking out away from that first visit. And to say I was heartbroken is probably an understatement. And I reckon that coming up, I mean, don't get me wrong, going into the visit at first I didn't want to go, only for the fact that I was thinking, how are the kids going to feel leaving? Is it easier for me to deal with this without them coming in? But then I thought, well, I'm going to feel guilty if I don't see them. And I made the decision to say, okay, well, on that first visit, I'm going to sit them down, I'm going to explain to them what's gone on. I had quite a bit of media exposure, so it was in the papers anyway, so they're not stupid. Kids are not stupid. That's one thing. Don't ever think kids are stupid, because they're not.
They're smarter than what they give on, innit?
Yeah, and I made the decision to say, okay, well, let's have the visit and let the kids decide whether they want to come back in or not. And you know what they said every week? Of course we want to come back in. We're never not going to come back in. And I used to say to them, if you don't want to come one week, don't come. If you've got something on, if you can go to football, you've got a dance show, whatever it may be, don't worry about me. And you know what? Not 1 week would they ever want to miss it. And you do video calls and things, and they loved it. Yeah. And it feels tough. You feel guilty bringing your kids in, don't you, on a visit?
Yeah, you do.
But then you'd feel guilty not bringing them in, because you don't want them to think you don't want them to come in.
I think the best thing, like you say, because we've got sort of like support that, you can sort of let them make the choices, can't you?
Yeah.
It's good to have that choice. It's good to be, because like you say, you were really lucky to have the kids didn't have, obviously they lost us, they lost yourself, but they still had the dad and all that there. So a lot of their life remained the same, as in other than us.
And
I think that's
my dad moved in, didn't he?
Yeah.
To support,
Yeah, so he moved into my house, my dad, didn't he? So he stayed with the kids, they stayed in the home, and they stayed with each other.
So they had something
Yeah, so they still stayed in school, they were still going to dance and football and things like that, and we were like visits and things like that, didn't we?
That's good.
But I think as well, I think on the back of that, there's people out there, and it's so sad what happens to people.
Yeah.
So, like in HMP, when I was in Style, you used to see women coming in for shoplifting, and they were shoplifting to feed the kids, and they're getting put in prison for shoplifting to feed the kids because they can't afford to.
And then they're separated.
And then what happens? The kids get taken off them, they get taken into care, and it's so sad, isn't it? And then you see women coming into prison who I mean, there's a lot of women in prison with complex mental health needs, and there's a lot of issues there around drug use and things. But then you see women coming into prison who haven't got complex mental health needs. They just can't afford to live, so they're out committing crime to feed the kids. And I'm not saying that's right, But the kids then get taken off them, and then there's an escalation of what happens from there. So they turn to drugs in prison. They're coming out with nowhere to live because they might have been in house and they've now got nowhere to live. And I'm glad to see there's been a change in the way that the shorter sentences are dealt with. Because, look, I'm not saying committing crime is right, because it's not. And I know for a fact I'll never commit crime again, and I'll never put myself back in that situation. But it's sad. I'm not just saying about mums, because there's dads out there who are the primary carers for the kids as well, and the same situation happens to them. But I'm glad to see that the criminal justice system is changing, and there's sentences being dealt with now in the community to stop the breakup of families, because it's not just taking a mum away from the kids, it's the impact it's having on the kids in the long run, and then what happens to those children. That's what it boils down to. It's as a society, we've got to think about what's right for kids.
100%. And I think what you said there about giving your children the option of, like, do you want to come back here? It kind of gives them a bit more power, allowing them to have, a say in what's happening in their lives in a moment when maybe they may feel powerless. But I think that was really good. I think that's really something key that people can take going forward. You guys have shared a lot about what it's like being a mother in prison, but I wanted to ask you, what is it like when you're about to be released? What are your biggest concerns around that?
I didn't have any concerns. I thought it was going to be, I'll be totally honest, thought it was going to be absolutely a walk in the park. Thought I'd go home, it'll be fine. No anxiety. I went home on a few rottles. They stopped, but I did do a few rottles and didn't affect me. Nothing felt like it was going fast, like people say cars are going fast. None of that for me. I was just like, oh, everything's fine. And then I think we had a big conversation. So you've been released about 6 months before me.
And then you rang me, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I'd come home, you were waiting for me to come, and you rang me dad.
Oh yeah, I did.
To me, Dad, she hasn't been in touch. She's been home 3 days. Is she definitely home?
I was panicking.
So she called, she went, I did give you a few days, because even the two of us both now, we're strong individuals. We got through it, and we did. We got through the prison sentence, and we both thought we'd be absolutely fine. And we both, I think I can speak for both of us, a little bit of taken back by, not that everything was going fast, just by...
Just reality life, innit?
And it was a little bit of a shock. It was like, my dad was gone before I even got back to the house. He was gone.
Is it? He said,
but you've got to give him his due. He had spent 2 years looking after the kids.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all, but he was gone. He was in the boozer before I even got home.
He was like, I've done my bit.
So I came home and went to the school and got the baby, and it was amazing. I loved it, but it's a big deal. I haven't had a responsibility for 2 years. I haven't had to pay a bill for 2 years. I haven't had to get up on time for, like,
the school runs
and pack 3 people. It was just, it's a lot. It's a lot when you go home. Like all them, it really is.
So you went straight back, straight into it. Wow.
So 3 kids to doing all the school runs, to doing all the dinners.
Right, Dad, you could have gave Tony a little bit of, you know what I mean?
He was on the third pint by the time I got home. Trust me.
But Dad was amazing. Dad was fantastic.
Dad was amazing.
Big up yourself,
Big up Kev the Bev. Big up Kev the Bev, because it was fantastic.
Yeah, but that is a lot.
And so was,
you know, and I struggled, and I had barely any responsibility.
I think a lot of my friends were really good with helping him out as well. They were all there. They were taking the kids on. Everyone was devastated. It was a sad time. But it's also that, like you said, you see people stepping up, people who you didn't know would step up.
Yeah, you didn't expect it.
And you're like, it's even that gives you a little bit of a lump in your throat, because you're thinking, it's unbelievable. My dad, my friends, we're very lucky, very lucky.
I think I had a conversation with you though. I said, prepare yourself, because I remember being, I don't know whether it was before you come home and you rang me from inside the prison, or whether it was when you first got home. I think it was just before, but I said, be prepared for, because you sat in prison and you're thinking, I can't wait to get home. Obviously you can't wait to get home, but reality really, really does kick in. And I think, again, it's a difficult one to put into words, but you get out and you're expecting all this hype, and I can't wait to get out, and this, and then I think it's all of a sudden after the first day, it hits you, and you're automatic. You have like a slump.
Yeah.
You do, don't you?
That's facts.
You waiting for someone to give you permission to do something.
I don't even think it's that. I don't know. It's difficult to put into words, but it's kind of, I think you're expecting it to be better than what it is, if I can say that without coming across as being
can relate to
an
that.
anticlimax.
It's an anticlimax.
Thanks,
Jules. Yeah, because I can't think of the word.
No, I feel you.
Yeah.
But you feel a bit selfish in saying that, because I felt selfish in saying and sitting back after a few days and thinking, is this really what it's all cracked up to be? Because I just think, I don't know what it is you're expecting when you get out of prison. Everyone's there waiting for you. I got out, I had my mum there with my cousin who I spoke about before, Nicola there, and the 2 kids. The dog was with me. They had balloons, they had flowers, they had champagne, they had everything. And you're in the car and it's brilliant, and your first day is fantastic, and you're at home, and then you're with your kids, and then you wake up that next morning and you're having a coffee. I remember sitting having a coffee and thinking, like, wow, I'm back. This is now life again.
It's almost the same feeling as, I'm actually in prison.
It is, yeah.
Well, I'm actually here, and
you're right.
now you're out. Yeah. It's almost a flip on it, isn't it?
It is, literally.
And I was lucky enough to come out. I know I had work lined up with Prison Radio. I come out in the summer, so I know I had the time with the kids. And one thing I just want to say, I mean, I was in a position where I was going back to my own home. I had my own kids. I had my kids back with me. I had my family and friends. So I look at myself as being very, very fortunate when I got out. And I had the support of that. I went to probation, and then luckily I had a bit of financial support from my friends and family, because I was supposed to go and kind of sign on, because I wasn't starting work with Prison Radio, but it was shut. So I couldn't do anything until the Monday or the Tuesday the next week. Now, I was in a situation where I was okay, so I was lucky enough. I always question, what if I was somebody who wasn't in a situation and I needed that appointment on that Friday to get some sort of emergency grant to see me over the weekend? And this is something that needs to be looked at, because I don't think people realise there's people coming out of prison with a grant of £80-something pounds to live on, to feed themselves, to potentially house themselves.
It's impossible.
So what are people expected to do if that appointment is cancelled on a Friday, and you've then got to wait till a Monday or a Tuesday?
Yeah, it's a harsh reality. It's a harsh reality that we face, but at the same time, it's a systematic issue as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because these things don't change overnight, unfortunately.
No, definitely not.
And the reality of it is, it doesn't help, innit? And that's the least we can say. It doesn't help at the bare minimum. But what else? What does that person do? Especially if they've got nowhere to go, nowhere to stay, not enough money in the pocket, no support. Where do they go?
But I think this, it's like a cycle, because this is why theme. Some people end up in prison. Do you get what I mean? That there isn't enough support, there isn't enough help, there isn't. And then it's kind of like, we look at these people like, they're bad or they're wrong or whatever, but they just need the support, and it is a lack of support. So I think this is a problem. Full stop. And I think, you bringing it up and addressing it, when you're saying that you didn't necessarily specifically need that, but there are so many people that do.
Yeah.
And we do need to talk about that, and we do need to highlight that.
Facts. And I just want to say, I signed on when I got out. It helped me out.
Yeah.
Boy, it allowed me, because of Canteen Sheet, I was able to, I'm dealing with a bigger budget.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm able to still budget, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think that support is important. If I didn't get it the day I got out, I don't know what I would have done. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to say, I'm lucky I got out on the day that I could go to the job centre straight after probation. Do you know what I'm saying?
And I think some people aren't eligible for that payment that you get when you leave, because I know a few girls who were in there you're having conversations, and some of them would say, oh no, I'm back on maybe a recall or something like that, or they're back within such amount of time, and you wouldn't get it. I mean, what are you going to do if you're getting out without any money, no food?
That's a whole nother conversation we can have.
What other kind of challenges did you guys face leaving prison and, getting back with your kids and being around, family again?
Guilt. So guilt was the biggest thing for me, and I still feel guilty every single day. So the kids, it's a funny one with me, because the kids go, I'll talk about you because you used to train a lot in style and how fit I was, and now I'm moaning that I'm not as fit as I was. And then our Scarlett's like, my little girl's like, I'll just go, well, you want to go back there to get fit, mum, joking and whatever. Okay. And we have a little bit of banter about it. And the kids, honestly, have took it in the stride. Like I said, how did it feel while I was away for that 22 months? They were like, oh, it flew by. It was fine. Like they said, my little girl was obviously a little bit older, so she said some days it felt long and a struggle. She went, but now when I look back, it's flown by. So they've took it in the stride. But I will admit now, some days, hand on heart, I put the kids will go in their rooms of a night, even now until this day, and I have to go in and get them and feel like I'm making up for lost time with them. And the guilt, I'm getting upset over it now. And the guilt as a mum for when you've got those kids still kills me in my heart till this day. Yeah.
I don't think that's something that'll ever go, is it?
No, won't.
Because we can never get the time back. We can never get what we put them through back. They were our choices at the end of the day. We made the choices. I done that to them kids. The justice system might not be the best, but we knew what we were doing beforehand, so I made that choice, and I've only got myself. I think we made the decisions we made though to give our kids a better life. Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I did, and that's why I think my family, and I'll always remember the day I got to the prison and they give you the call in the reception.
Yeah, that first phone call.
Because I thought I was not going to get remanded. I couldn't believe that. No, they said you're getting remanded, and that means you're going to prison here and now. And I was like, actual jail. You're sending me to actual prison.
Well, I just feel like there were definitely loads of opportunities for the justice system to make that smoother, to make it easier, to make it better. Do you get what I mean? I think we're talking about, okay, cool, you made those decisions, but it's about everything that happens after it, which is what we talk about and what we address here. Do you get what I mean?
I do make a point of set like that guilt.
It's the guilt that kills you.
The kids don't really see that, do they? No. They don't. That hurts you internally, like a lot. It plays on your mind. It makes you feel guilty when you've just got to go to the shop and get it's just any little thing. It's just little things. It's just always there. I think I talk about it with the kids. Like I say to Lewis, imagine I never went there. I done my bike qualification with Halfords whilst I was in there, didn't I?
Oh, so you can fix bikes and all that.
I fixed Lewis's bike last week.
Come on.
Oh, well done. How did you know that?
Skills we pick up. Come on.
So we laugh at that now, me and the eldest, and once the other two get a bit older, we'll all laugh about it. Yeah. I'll still carry that guilt. That'll never go away because the 2 years I'll never get back.
So then seeing the person, like, as you two have seen each other, you've been together in prison, and now you're still friends on the outside. How does your friendship since being outside like help you both?
Well, with that, I think that's what sort of, we had the conversation on the phone when I mentioned earlier. Faye got in touch after a couple of days and said, I had the feeling you might have been
for 3 days.
Yeah. Did you get home okay? But she said to give you that time because I know what it's like myself. It does take a minute. And then we had the conversation, didn't we? We've been there for each other. We're just at the other end of the phone all the time, aren't we? I think sometimes just take your time. A few helpful tips. You said take your time, don't rush. Not needs to rush, and that's what I think that was the biggest thing I needed to know. Take your time. I don't need to be doing everything that I thought I would be doing the next day. Yeah. I thought I'd have the next day after being home. I thought I'd be in a full-time employment the next day. The kids would all be back to normal. The house would be all fine. And no, it takes a long time. I'm 6 months and I'm so much calmer. Everything's better. And I remember it's only looking back now to 6 months ago that I think, remember that time when I was all up the wall, and I'm so much calmer now, isn't it, when we speak? And
I think it'll get better and with more time as well. It'll keep getting better.
You don't see it happening. It just does.
It just does, yeah.
And as much as I've got so many amazing friends from prior to going to prison and so much amazing family, there's only someone you've sat in a cell with crying on your bunk who understands when you're at home and you're facing a certain issue that your best friend from the outside can't ever understand as much as they will try and understand. Unless you've been sat on a bunk bed at your lowest with someone, people just don't get it.
Definitely.
And I don't care how much people say, I get it.
No. And it goes back to that, doesn't it?
I think it's hard when you hear people say, it's a really difficult situation because your loved ones, family and friends from before say, I get it. because they want to help, but then you can't help but just think you don't. So it's that kind of like battle. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. And you don't want to say to them you don't get it because they're trying their best.
But you do. I've said it a lot of times. I remember saying you just don't. And I think you're right. Unless you've been there with the blue plate and the blue cup and you've helped each other through that moment. And I think that's what makes these relationships so powerful and so strong.
And Toni and I have been through highs and lows together. I mean, I don't know whether this is something that we should be betraying, but we done like a come dine with me. Now we earned that because we worked hard in prison. Don't get me wrong. We're saying about all the laughing and joking that we've had. Trust us, the two of us have been on the floor crying at our lowest as well in prison.
Yeah. But I thought you were saying that of like
we've
tears of laughter.
We've been highs and lows, and and I think, because you obviously meet other people in prison as well, who you in passing, especially with me working in the gym. I met a lot of people and made some friendships. But until you've sat in a room together on a home leave, not on a home leave, on a home leave, not on a home leave, for example, Toni's picking up the phone, having to deal with the kids crying. I'm picking up the phone, and you're nurturing each other through those highs and lows. Literally. I don't think you can ever replace that, especially when you've got a connection with someone that you've got the same morals and you're going through the same things. And you know that
friendship's true because it's raw. It's not fake because you've only got you and your real self in prison. Yeah. So
and that's key.
When I went back to saying before, everyone's the same. If you like someone in prison, that is the real authentic self, and that is as true as you can ever be as when you're there, isn't it? Because what else have you got?
And you can't hide it.
No.
Eventually the mask will break.
People try to hide it though, don't they? People try and have a persona. Yeah. I remember I used to walk around with a smile on my face most days, and like everyone be like, how come you're always smiling? I said, well, you've got two choices, haven't you? I either walk around miserable and that's not going to have a positive impact on my kids, is it? Yeah. Or I take every opportunity that's in front of me. I think about the positive things that are going on, and I make the most of this, what's in front of me, and deal with it as best I can. And I never tried to be anything I wasn't in prison. And I think because Toni was the same, and if you was upset, you was upset. If you wanted to cry, you cry. Yeah. I think that shows as well, 100%. Doesn't it?
If I felt like crying because I was sad that I was missing my kids, I'm not gonna.
And you could make a good coffee as well, which always helps.
You know when people say that, I'll make you a coffee, and you're thinking, and then someone else will say it on the, you go, make the coffees.
Yeah.
So, Faye, Toni, what would you say to parents just getting out of prison now?
I'd say don't be too hard on yourself. I wish I could take some of that, my own advice myself, but it's probably what I'd tell you.
Yeah.
Don't be so hard on yourself because you're doing great, you're doing amazing. What you're feeling on day one of coming home, that call that we had 2 days later, I mean, a totally different mindset now. If you're feeling bit rough because you've just come home and everything's full on. It's 6 months later, I'm not like that. I don't think it took 6 months, but 6 months later, I'm totally better. Like, as in everything slowed down. Just don't be too hard on yourself if you're coming home, and it's easier said than done, but we're moving in the right direction. We're home, aren't we? So,
that's right.
Yeah. And I think you have an expectation of yourself, don't you? Because, and I'm going to give two different examples. There's going to be parents coming out now who are coming home to the children, which is great. But there's also going to be parents who are coming out who aren't coming home to the children. The kids might have been taken into care for no fault of the parents' own as well. And I think an important message to take, and quite a serious message to take, is if you're not in contact with your kids, one thing I used to say to people I'd meet in prison is write a letter every day. If you're struggling and you're wondering kind of, are your kids thinking, where are you? And have you left them and things like that? Write your kids a letter every day, whether it be a couple of sentences. And when you finally get that bond back, and when you finally be able to hopefully get back in touch with your kids, show them that you never left aside, show them that you're always cared, whether you're inside or outside. That's one thing I always say to people who've had the kids taken away from them, because I can't imagine as a parent what it must feel like through no fault of, not through no fault of your own because you've ended up in prison, but through maybe things that have been outside of your control, having your kids taken away from you. So don't give up. Keep fighting, be positive, and keep always thinking that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And then for parents who are coming home to the kids, enjoy every single minute of it. Slow down and enjoy the small stuff. I mean, I don't know about you two, but I used to go, oh, the school run again, oh, football run, oh, pack lunches. Now I'm like, give me as many school runs as you can. Give me as many pack lunches. My kids aren't even on pack lunch, and I'm like, just one pack lunch today for school, because I just want to feel like I'm making up for lost time. But look, we're not bad people. We're parents. Our kid, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but my kids are my world, and nothing will ever replace that. And I'm guessing for most parents, that's the same. So try not to feel guilty, even though that's what we do every single day. Don't try and overcompensate, because again, that's what we do every day. Well, I know I do. You're overcompensating, because as a parent, your kids will love you, and they'll always love you. And just kind of enjoy the small stuff. Yeah, and be proud of yourself that you've made it through, and you're back out, and you're trying to be the best parent you can be every single day. Yeah.
Think of the positives, like fixing bikes. That's
right.
My little lad goes to me, we play football with my mum, and I've got 1,000,001 things to do. I've got shows to record, I've got edits to do, and you know what? I'll go no, and then I'm busy, and then I'll think, do you know what, actually, lads? Do you know what? Anything else can wait. Yeah, it can. Because first and foremost, I'm a parent, and I don't care what's put in front of me. Being a parent comes first now.
Love that.
100%.
Love that. Yeah. Love that. Thank you for sharing that, and so beautifully put too. So what we like to do on Life After Prison is, put a spotlight or highlight organizations that can support people in prison or outside of prison. So I wanted to give you two the opportunity to do so. If there are any you wanted to shout out. Yeah,
so PACT for me. Definitely. So they were inside the prison, a group of, I think, the volunteers, and they help. It's basically for keeping families together. It's like the family, they work for family days. They set up all the games on your visits. They put all the board games down. They help you send letters home if you're not having contact with your children. I know they've helped a lot of girls out whilst they be there, even if it's making boxes, to put letters away, like Faye said, every week. They do a lot of work like that. They organise family days where they'll ask, like, the officers not to wear the prison uniform. So if there's children that don't know you're in prison, they think you're working, they do what they can to just help you maintain them family ties, which is just massively important.
Love that.
Obviously for us, they were a big charity. You done, what did you do? A row? I think Faye done a row.
A charity row
for them.
Yeah.
In style.
So a row, the equivalent of the Channel on the rowing machine.
Wow. What's that distance? Do you remember?
33 something kilometres.
Wow. So 33k. Wow.
33k. Not very long, did it? Couple of, don't know.
I wasn't there when you done it. I watched it on
But you know what? It was great because we were all out on the avenues. It was a sunny day. We got a gazebo out, had the music on in the middle of the avenue, and there was a load of music. Nice. And we raised money for PACT to basically get board games for in the prison hall in style.
Love that.
So PACT were good, yeah.
And Faye, any for you to shout out?
As I've touched on, I was kind of lucky enough. I had family ties, I had housing, I had everything. The only thing I was missing was employment. And I was lucky enough to be offered full-time employment by Prison Radio Association, who are also the parent company of National Prison Radio, charity organisation, and I work for them full-time, and I do a show which is very, very, very close to my heart, called the Family and Friends Request Show, which I do with the wonderful Jules. Jules is the host of that. And no, look, I'm not just saying it because I'm employed by them. And I'll touch on the Family and Friends Request Show in a moment and what that does for prisoners. But we look at the letter log. We get something called a letter log, and we've only got to look, haven't we, on the channel that we use to see the impact that National Prison Radio and Prison Radio Association has, not only on prisoners but on the families as well. So huge organisation for the work it does both inside and outside of the prisons. And I want to give a special shout out to our show, Jules, the Family and Friends Request Show. And I'm not doing it just because you're the host, Jules. I'm doing it because I see day in, day out the impact it has on not only prisoners but on their loved ones as well, in terms of maintaining them family ties. There's people who can't get into prison on visits because it costs money. They can't send in letters, they can't send in emails, because it all costs money, doesn't it, to be able to do that.
So just to be clear, Faye, what is the Family and Friends Request Show?
The Family and Friends Request Show is basically a show that goes out on a Thursday on NPR, but it also goes out outside as well on mixcloud.com. But if people go to nationalprisonradio.com, they can find the link to there. So family and friends who are outside of prison can send messages that come into us for those people who are living in prison. People living in prison can also call the free phone number, which is 0808 123 1234, and send messages to family on the outside. But the loveliest thing about the show is it goes out both inside and outside at exactly the same time. So I could send in a request to a friend who's in prison, and I know that when they're listening, I can log on to Mixcloud and listen to the show at the same time as well. And it's the only show on National Prison Radio that actually has the ability to do that for people. So yeah, it's a fantastic show. It's brilliant. And as I've already said, it's a great way for loved ones to stay connected.
I'm just going to shout out a couple more organisations. So the first one I'm going to shout out is Spurgeons, who are whose prison team supports children, families and men in custody, helping them stay connected and strong throughout sentencing and release. So go to spurgeons.org and to check out their resources and see what support they can offer you. There's also Nepacs or Nepacs, who are based in the northeast of England. They work with families, young people and children affected by the criminal justice system and the care system. So check those out if they speak to you.
Can I just add one final
Of
note?
course.
And I don't know whether this will be included, but if there's anybody out there who's struggling, we've just given a way of getting in touch with National Prison Radio, but particularly if there's any mums out there who are struggling, who have just been released from prison, and there's kind of any help or support or advice they'd like to get, I'm more than happy to receive it through National Prison Radio on the website there. So yeah, because it means a lot to me. If it makes a difference to your kids' lives, I'm always happy to help.
Yeah, how about you email podcast@prison.radio and just start your message with Faye, and we'll do that.
Faye or Toni.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to say, because there are a lot of people listening right now that
they don't know where to go, do they?
Yeah, and we do have a lot of people that relate to certain episodes, really specific ones and particular ones. So it's really nice for people to have that point of contact. So thank you.
Yeah,
thank
thanks
you for that.
that.
So our latest question to you guys on our socials was, what advice would you want your kids to keep in their hearts? And before I come to you guys, we're going to read out what some of our listeners have said. So someone said, take your time.
Yeah, take time.
Somebody else said, enjoy the little things in life.
Yeah.
That's what you guys touched on today, which is
facts.
really special.
Yeah.
Big facts.
And I really like this one, so I'm going to read this out. It says, you're enough. You don't have to earn people's love.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah, big facts.
Oh, I love that so much. It's really emotional when you're when we're talking about it to do with our kids, right?
Yeah.
Usually we're not really involving the kids like this. It's all about us and
It's a
what
big
we go
subject.
through. And
I still fill up every day when I'd fill up that. I'm one of the strongest people you can meet, and nothing really upsets me. As soon as you start talking about kids and people's kids, yeah.
So what would you guys want your kids, what piece of advice would you want your kids to keep in their hearts?
So I tell my kids this every day. First and foremost, remember that you're loved, but most importantly, always be kind.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like that.
It's nice to be nice. Cost nothing, does
Cost
it?
nothing to be
Please
nice.
and thank yous. If you've got them, you're going a long way. You really have though, haven't you?
Yeah,
I mean, that's the biggest thing. My mum and dad were the same with me. It was please and thank you for everything. Be grateful for everything you've got, because even when you think you've not got much, take a little look around you and there's someone who could always do with a little cheering up. Say something nice to someone. It's nothing better than when you say something nice to someone and they smile or they laugh, or tell them a joke, make them laugh. Just like laughter, really, it's the best medicine, isn't it? And we sometimes get through our days where we're away from the kids just by trying to laugh it off, just trying to not laugh the situation off, but just trying to make light of a dark situation. So it's all advice that I give to kids as well. It's like you've got through that, you can get through anything. You're invincible, really, aren't you?
I think it's important for kids to know they're loved, though. I think that's kids,
massively.
I mean, every if you listen to me on the phone to my kids, they've been on, like, for example, when they're on holiday, I'm like 10 times a day, love you, text and love you, and it's not over. That's just the way we are. That's just the way I am as a parent. And I think if a kid can be comfortable in themselves and not feel afraid to be themselves and know that no matter what, they're loved, I think they'll go a long way in life, as well as having good manners is a big one.
Well said.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And please keep getting in touch with us, everyone watching or listening. You can do that by DMing us on Instagram or X, After Prison Pod. TikTok is Life After Prison Pod. You can email us at podcast@prison.radio. And if you're inside listening, we will put the phone number you can use at the end of the show.
Yeah, so thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Toni and Faye. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having us.
That was amazing. Thank you.
Big up yourself, Jules, every time.
Come on.
Producers. You know what I'm saying? And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.